Filling in the blanks as we go. Posted originally on the Archive of Our Own at https://archiveofourown.org/works/6426151. Rating: teen and up audiences. Archive warning: no archive warnings apply. Category: M/M. Fandom: Bungo Stray Dogs. Relationship: Dazai Osamu/Nakahara Chuya Bungo Stray Dogs. Characters: Dazai Osamu Bungo Stray Dogs, Nakahara Chuya Bungo Stray Dogs. Additional tags: pregnant Dazai Osamu Bungo Stray Dogs, trans Dazai Osamu Bungo Stray Dogs, soft Dazai Osamu Nakahara Chuya Bungo Stray Dogs, domestic fluff, domestic bliss, pregnancy, baby names, comfort no hurt, references to depression, as always because it is my fic, swearing, as always sponsored by Chuya, thirsty Dazai Osamu Bungo Stray Dogs, I feel like he always is, but still, Dazai's thirsty and down bad. Language, English, series, part 7 of Our Cinderella, stats, published 2025, March 29th, words, 3,286, chapters 1 of 1. Filling in the blanks as we go, by Yellow_Symphony. Summary. I'm tired and pregnant, and it's been like forever. You've been here for not even an hour. And did I mention that I'm pregnant? I'm very busy at work cooking a new human. Do you even know how much energy that requires? I know, Gia says, far too softly for the bullshit Dazai is spewing, and you're doing a wonderful job. A kiss to his head follows, and really, Dazai was just playing around, and here's Chuya making him flush. How unfair. Notes. I moved last month, and so here's me projecting onto my boys about the harrowing experience of having to pack everything you own, only for you to then have to unpack all that. On the menu today, I present 4 head kisses and Dazai being obsessed with Chuya, as he should be. See the end of the work for more notes. It is a truth universally acknowledged that, upon moving houses, a person tends to realize that they have 10 times more crap in their home than they thought. Or so Dazai has come to realize, at the very least. He's very happy about the move in general. The house is beautiful. It's more secluded and definitely calmer than the apartment in the middle of the city. Plus, buying a house with Chuya to raise their children in stirs something primal inside of his heart, ever since they both stopped panicking about their upcoming baby. The furniture, all chosen by Chuya, is both modern and yet somehow not terrible looking, and with some decoration, Dazai is confident the place will have a nice, homey feeling to it, providing they ever manage to actually unpack. Their former apartment was by no means small, but it was only 2 bedrooms, so Dazai, foolishly, thought unpacking wouldn't take so long. After all, how much stuff can 2 people possess, realistically? A lot, turns out. Like, really a lot. Dazai hadn't been there when Chuya packed everything. He was told to just pack the things he wouldn't want Chuya touching, which there wasn't much of. After that, he'd been shipped off to stay with Rampo and Po for a few days on account of the chaos, the movers, and the heavy lifting he's forbidden from doing, and that he wouldn't do even if he wasn't. He just arrived at their shiny new house a couple hours ago and couldn't quite believe his eyes when seeing the state of things. There's boxes just about everywhere, perched on every available bit of space or floor, most still unopened. Most have Chuya's messy scrawls scribbled on them in black Sharpie. Going around, it's easy to pinpoint when Chuya stopped caring, as Japanese turns to French, where he's been getting too impatient or annoyed to properly label things. At least Chuya has his ability. Meanwhile, Dazai has to get up to reach stuff, which really isn't easy for him. Standing up is quite a feat these days. What are you doing? Ah, speak of the gravity-wielding devil. Dazai glances up at him from his perch on the floor. Chuya's deliciously shirtless and in a pair of gym shorts, thanks to a rare heat wave this late in October. He has his hair up in a bun, some strands escaping it to curl around his face, framing it in a way that looks deliberate, like it could look on a model on the cover of Vogue. There's a thin layer of sweat on his well-muscled chest, and Dazai can't help but let his eyes go down, from Chuya's neck to his biceps, the defined lines of his abs, the scattering of copper hair out of his happy trail going down till it reaches the waistband of his shorts, and right to his kidney, as if to scold him that he should be focused on something else. How rude. The grimace on his face is evident enough that Chuya steps inside the room, leisurely walking towards him, and then sits down by his side. One of his hands reaches for Dazai's face, and Dazai lets himself nuzzle into it, despite the sweat he feels on both the hand and his own cheek. Do you want something cold to drink? Chuya asks, eyeing him like he tends to do these days, as if to check that nothing bad has happened in the perhaps half hour Dazai'd been out of his sight. It's not an unsafe assumption to make. Dazai's always been clumsy, and at over 7 months pregnant, it'd be safest for him to just stay put, lest he trips on something or bumps into something else. His balance is all off, he almost can't see his own feet anymore, and bending down is a nightmare he'd rather never have to experience again. Not to mention that the baby's new favorite thing is jabbing him from the inside. Case in point now, when she delivers another swift kick, soon followed by one more. What I want, he grimaces, leaning against Chuya's touch, is to go take a nap. It's barely past 4. I'm tired and pregnant, and it's been like forever. You've been here for not even an hour. Did I mention that I'm pregnant and I'm very busy at work cooking a new human? Do you even know how much energy that requires? I know, Chia says, far too softly for the bullshit Dazai is spewing, and you're doing a wonderful job. A kiss to his head follows, and really, Dazai was just playing around, and here's Chuya making him flush. How unfair. He pouts, tilting his head so Chuya gives him a real kiss instead, and Chuya rolls his eyes, but he soon does as Dazai wanted. Dazai hums a little, letting his eyes close, and the low thrum of arousal spread through his body. He reaches his arms around Chia's shoulders, toying with his hair, letting his husband cradle him even closer, their bodies as flush as can be with Dazai's stomach in the way. He feels Chia's teeth on his lower lip give him a gentle nip, and he groans, fingers digging into his bare skin, already feeling a hot knot form in his gut. It's not exactly that difficult to rile him up these days. Feels like at any given time when he's not tired or overly emotional, he feels so damn needy. Thump. Ow, he hisses, the kiss broken as his hand flies down to where the baby's foot happened to be just now. It stings badly enough that she might have actually struck a kidney for real. Next to him, Chia snickers. Dazai glares at him, massaging his stomach slowly. You're both so mean to me, he whines, for dramatic effect, and because his back is starting to hurt, he lies down on the floor, left to dramatically glance up at Chia. She's been kicking me ever since I sat down here. Chia's still got a shit-eating grin, because of course, but his eyes soften, and he lays a hand on Dazai's belly, caressing it slowly. Another little kick soon follows, and Chia's smile changes, wide and bright, as he glances at where his hand is laid. He's been so excited to feel her kick every single time. It's partially why Dazai always whines about it. A part of him feels the need to complain, yes, but mostly he likes to see Chia's roaming hands on his belly, trying to feel a kick underneath his palm. She's excited for her new room, he says, eyeing the space. The nursery is coming together, slowly but surely. She won't even be sleeping in it yet, Dazai sighs. There's a cot in the room, yes, but it won't be used until the baby's a few months old. Instead, they've got a little bassinet for their bedroom, just so they won't have to run out of the room every time the baby cries. When briefly talking about it with others, mainly Yoshino and Rampo, they did say it would get annoying very quickly to have to room with a wailing baby. For first-time parents, though, Dazai thinks the cot in their room is just right. They're both too clueless and too nervous. They probably won't let her out of their sight once she's born. He grimaces at the thought. It's 2 months till the due date. He's looking forward to meeting his and Chiga's baby, and he'll be glad that finally he won't have to be quite so careful with himself. But the whole giving birth part? Not really something he's eager to go through. What are you thinking about, Chiga leans down so their noses are touching. She'll be here soon, he mumbles, and we haven't even come up with a name yet. That's because you keep rejecting them all. Not my fault that your picks are awful. They're not, Chiga swats him on the shoulder, gently though. The days of him being careless with his own strength are long gone. Dazai can't say he doesn't enjoy the sweeter side of him. You have unrealistically high standards, or you spew some bullshit about how some girl in your class was named Hinata, and that's why we can't pick that name. I did know a girl like that, Dazai muses, and she poured juice on my hair once, so our baby can't have the same name as her. You keep saying that about every name I give you. I went to an all-girls school, met a lot of girls. Rich girls too, which means most of them are mean and spoiled. As if you weren't mean and spoiled, Chia huffs, and Dazai exhales a laugh. Never said I wasn't, but I was also too smart, and not that girly. He smiles in self-deprecation. They love to bully me for that. Well, they were a bunch of cunts. Chuya! Dazai barks out a laugh. You can't say that! Why the fuck not? Chuya leans back with a brilliant grin. In the afternoon sun, skin glistening and hair disheveled, he looks ethereal, an otherworldly angel fallen down from the skies just to give Dazai's world meaning. They were 10 years old! So what? And we really need to do something about you swearing, he says, now quieter, as he meets Chia's eyes. Otherwise, Princess here will learn to say fuck before anything else. What, you're gonna put up a swear jar or something? I just might, he muses. It's not actually a bad idea. He knows Chia will try to give a lot more ease off the swearing once the baby's actually here, but it wouldn't be bad to give him another incentive. Because, really, what will the neighbors think if the kids end up swearing on the playground? They sit in silence for a bit after that. Chia plays with Dazai's hair, and Dazai lets himself enjoy the quiet and the view. You should go lay down in bed, Chia tells him softly. Your back will be sore if you stay like that. I was supposed to be unpacking, though. I thought, he sighs loudly, glancing at the few still unpacked boxes. He'd gone through clothes and nappies, and boy, are there a lot of nappies. It's dreadful to think that he'd read that many packs of them are barely going to last a few weeks. But he still needs to put up all the decorations, toys, and some smaller things like the baby monitor and the trash can for the changing table and all the small lights, and then there's hanging up the picture frames. I can take care of that, Chia interrupts. The rest of the stuff you'd have to move a lot and pick up some heavier things. Okay, these aren't that heavy. I'm not made of glass. Dazai does like the excuse of not having to do much work because I'm pregnant. It came in handy at the office all the time, but he very much dislikes being treated like he can't do anything. He shouldn't have to, but that doesn't mean he's incapable, thank you very much. I know you're not. Chia weaves his fingers through his hair. Momentarily, Dazai gets lost in the gentle scrape against his scalp, and Chia softly brushing his hair. You've done some stuff already, and you haven't slept well yesterday because of the baby. So you should go nap, and I'll finish up to here. Is the kitchen done, then? Chia hums in reply. Dazai chooses to interpret that as more or less. I'll get up in a minute. You can't be comfortable. I don't want to move, Dazai whines. The heat is quite unbearable. Chia hasn't gotten around to hooking up the AC yet, and while Dazai usually doesn't mind the heat as much as he does the cold, the pregnancy must make his body temperature higher because he feels like he's going to melt. That, and every single part of him is sweating uncomfortably. Thank God he ditched the bandages completely today, and thank God Chia had the foresight to order him pregnancy clothes for the heat. The shirt he's still wearing clings to his skin, but the shorts are breezy and comfy. I could carry you, Chia teases. Dazai rolls his eyes, but he smiles. He's a head taller, and he has the added weight of a chunky watermelon on his midsection, but there's no doubt Chia could hold him up and likely wouldn't even break a sweat. He dutifully ignores how his stomach flutters at the thought of Chia picking him up like it's nothing. He's too tired to be horny. I can't sleep in the heat, Dazai mumbles, rubbing his stomach. The baby continues to be restless, and Dazai understands the sentiment. If he's uncomfortable, how the hell must she feel, all cramped in there? Chia clicks his tongue, and then swiftly gets up, reaching to give Dazai a hand. He takes it, and together they somehow get him standing with only a little bit of effort. I might as well hook up the AC in the bedroom now. Come on. He doesn't drop Dazai's hand as he walks across the hallway, and Dazai giddily keeps clutching it. It's quite thrilling. They've never really held hands besides a few times in their teens. The pregnancy made both of them a lot more affectionate, and Dazai can only hope it stays this way after the baby is here. It is a little bit ironic that Dazai had to get pregnant in order for that to happen, but he and Chia have never done things ordinarily anyway. Their new bedroom is spacious, and at the moment, bare, besides the furniture and the mountain of boxes in the walk-in closet. But Chia did make the bed and unpack the pregnancy pillow, so Dazai can lay down immediately, which he appreciates. He makes himself comfortable while Chia casually strolls up and sits down at the top of the wall and starts messing with the AC. The novelty of Chia walking on walls had worn off approximately 2 weeks after Dazai had first met him, though, so before long, Dazai starts looking around the room instead. Since it's bare and there's not much to glance at, his eyes quickly find their way to the bassinet, not too far from the bed. Chia insisted on assembling it right away. Something about it being ready just in case, the worry word. Dazai's had a fair share of seeing nursery furniture in the last few months, but something about the sight of the bassinet makes his breath catch. It's empty now. It won't be quite soon. 2 months is little time, in comparison to the last 7 the baby has been inside him. In no time at all, she'll be here. Dazai will be able to look at her, to touch her. She'll no longer be a what-if, but a real, tangible element of his life. He digs up his phone from his pocket and Googles, yet again, some lists of baby names. They can't exactly name the baby Princess, after all, though the nickname stuck, and Dazai predicts it'll stick with her for good. He's only half paying attention to the names he sees listed, dissatisfied with almost everything he sees. He's never had strong feelings about any name he heard, and he's never been very picky about them either. His own name he chose out of some novel he doesn't even remember. But he can't just choose any random name now. Chia's daughter will be the most important person to grace this earth, and she deserves a carefully chosen name. One that means something. The internet only gives him the most basic of names, and the people from the agency aren't exactly helpful either. Yoshino's pics were too flowery, and Kunikida's all sounded like names of old ladies. And the one time Dazai asked out Sushi, the kids got sidetracked when Dazai said the baby will have Chiya's surname because he and Chiya are both Nakaharas, actually. And they got nothing out of that talk other than Dazai retelling him the story of how he and Chiya got married. Maybe he should browse a phone book or something. He's pretty sure they still exist. He's seen one at a cafe under the agency one time, although he's not sure what it was doing there. He blinks and turns to look up at Chiya. What about Harumi? Chiya glances at him with a frown. The name for the baby. Harumi. He can't remember when he heard it. These days he spends mostly inside, too uncomfortable with the idea of someone spotting him, and too tired to be going to work anymore. It must have been last month. He'd sit in the cafe when he needed a moment's peace from everyone's fretting, in a booth with his coat on and sitting close to the table so no one could tell he's pregnant, so he didn't feel in danger being there. Someone sat at the table behind him, a couple women chatting, and they were talking about their relatives, throwing names around. It must have stuck in his memory. Chiya clicks some stuff, the AC hums to life, and he hops off the wall, then perching on the bed next to Dazai, putting his hand on the baby bump, a common place for a hand to be nowadays. The kanji, beautiful and clear waters, right? I was thinking spring for Haru, actually, he explains, nuzzling into the pillow. The AC is already doing wonders, and the room slowly cooling down makes him more sleepy. Should be born in winter, Chia chuckles. Kinda contradictory. I like spring, Dazai mumbles, face half hidden in the pillow. Life's always been a little less miserable in spring for me. He'd felt like dying pretty much every day since his late teens. It's been a constant for years, barely broken by occasional bouts of medication or rare good days. Depression dug into him and refused to let go, simple as that. Somehow, though, spring makes the ache inside of him lessen. He doesn't know why. If it's the reawakening of nature, the warm, pleasant weather, the blooming of flowers, maybe the fact that Chiga was born in spring. It's important to him, though. It's been a light in a dim tunnel for as long as he can remember. It's like Dazai begins, then stops for a moment, trying to collect his thoughts. It's not easy, with the whole thing being so abstract, yet so sentimental. I always feel that chasm inside. It comes and goes, yeah, but if I'm not on meds, it's almost always there. When it's spring, it's like it's filled, I guess? Or shallower, I don't know. He chuckles awkwardly, clutching the bedsheets. He feels Chiga's hand on his belly caress him gently. She's the same. It's not gone, but she makes it bearable. Like, I could forget it's there, because she's here now, and I have something to get me through the worst of it. He can no longer blame the heat for the warmth of his cheeks, but he ignores that fact. That's really lovely, actually, Chia hums, stroking his bump. When Dazai glances at him, he's smiling softly, watching him. I like it, and I bet she'll like the meaning when she's older. He leans down to brush Dazai's hair back, then pecking his forehead. He then scoots on the bed and leans down so he's laying parallel to Dazai, but now facing the baby bump, also giving it a kiss. Sleep well, Samu. Harumi. Endnotes. Dropping this little thing here because my attention horse spirit demands to be fed while I work on some longer stuff in the background and try not to die doing 2 MAs. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. Please drop by the archive and comment to let the creator know if you enjoyed their work.